Hello and welcome to the Medical Sales Podcast. I'm your host, Samuel, founder of a revolutionary medical sales training and mentorship program called the Medical Sales Career Builder, and I'm also host of the Medical Sales Podcast. In this podcast, I interview top medical sales reps and leading medical sales executives across the entire world. It doesn't matter what medical sales industry, from medical device to pharmaceutical to genetic testing and diagnostic lab, you name it, you will learn how to either break into the industry, be a top 10% performer within your role, or climb the corporate ladder. Welcome to the Medical Sales Podcast. And remember, I am a medical sales expert sharing my own opinion about this amazing industry and how it can change your life. First off, tell us what your job was. Like, what was your role? And give us the whole skinny about it. Is it a team environment role? Is it by yourself role? Do you have, a city area, or do you have multiple states? Give us a scoop on what the role is.
Definitely. So I had come from Medtronic. I was with Medtronic for about 5 years. I cut my teeth in medical devices by contracting with Medtronic. So I was a contractor for several years, and then they hired me on full time as a remote sales rep. So I was doing
remote sales rep, meaning you were only on the phones.
I was on the phones mostly for those geographically isolated locations, or sort of lower priority accounts or high priority accounts where the rep just wasn't available to do all the touches that he needed to do or she needed to do. So I would help with that remotely. It was more of like a strategic sales type position where I was sort of engaging with data. I was engaging with product launches, things like that, rather than a more traditional field-based role. But I was visiting the accounts about quarterly and going in and not so much supporting procedures, because I wasn't in procedures enough to really have the clinical acumen, but I was in procedures just to understand their workflow, their decision making flow as well.
And what was this position called? It was just called the remote sales rep position. That was the title.
Remote sales rep. Yeah, it was a brand new team within Medtronic. So they were looking at the cost of a traditional field-based rep versus the amount of administrative work that a field-based rep has to do. And they said, why don't we have this remote sales team based out of Mounds View, Minnesota, that really tackles the administrative stuff and is a little bit lighter on the field work. So
we're seeing, in the industry, we're seeing that happen a lot more. And it's not just medical device now. We're seeing medical device do this. We're seeing pharmaceutical do this. I won't be surprised if you start seeing med supplies do this, where they have these roles where you're pretty much a phone sales rep. And maybe you come to account sometimes, but the majority of your day is literally getting access to those hard to see accounts and trying to establish something over the phone. Is that what you pretty much experience?
Exactly. Yeah. I was teeing up meetings for the rep or teeing up meetings for myself, helping to get new products in, talking about data dissemination, things like that. So absolutely. And now as a consultant, I'm a huge proponent of it, because I saw how well that team was able to target those sort of. It was a pretty neat experience. So I absolutely loved that, but did move to Los Angeles.
Before you move on, so let's stay there for a second. How long did you do that role?
So I was in that role for about 2 years.
And be honest with us, right now there are people listening that might hear this and be like, wait a minute, I didn't know there's a phone only or phone majority role where I can be a sales rep and I'm helping to get access to hard to see accounts. What did you love about that role? And what would you say was more of the challenge and maybe something you would want to experience again about that role?
That's a really good question. So I love supporting patients, supporting outcomes, but I've never been a big fan of being on call or being in a 12-hour procedure. So in that role, there was just less of that time commitment. There was more predictability. It was really, yeah, it was really consistent. It was a grind, it's a little mind numbing to be on the phone all day.
Mhm.
Sometimes you just want to get out of the office and
Right.
visit some people. So we did have the option to do that as well. Um, the one thing though that I would have changed about it, and it was a really new team, but I was supporting like 20 field reps,
Sure.
so it was a little bit. It was a huge chunk. I had like
Sure.
250 accounts. It was just a
Wow.
huge
Yeah.
chunk
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
work,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it was up to me to kind of like wrangle and prioritize and
Sure.
stuff like that. So that was definitely a challenge. If I had maybe 5 reps or 10 reps, that would be more manageable.
Wow. Wow. Okay. Okay. I get it. Okay. So, what did you move on to do? What's the role that I'm not going to give it away. Go ahead. What did you move
Sure.
on to go?
So I moved on to Cook Medical, and I really did enjoy that strategic accounts view. So I was working with Medtronic, with Kaiser, CAMs, like their account managers, and I was working at the
What was
IDN
the specialty? What was the specialty?
peripheral vascular.
Peripheral vascular.
So,
So you were a remote sales rep in peripheral vascular,
hmm hmm
and then you left to go be
to
at
go
Cook
be
Medical.
at Cook Medical, yes. And I got the job as a vascular account executive at Cook
Got it.
Medical, which is really like a key accounts role, but it's like a local key accounts rather than national key accounts. So
So
based in,
let's describe that, Jennifer, because
yeah,
I know what that is, but there's a bunch of people that have no idea what you're talking about. So
sure.
give us what is first of all, what is a vascular? Give us the title of the vascular rep you were. What do they do? Who do they call on? What's it like? And then explain the key account portion of that.
Absolutely. So I'm so glad to be talking about this because I feel like a lot of folks when they think about medical device sales, they really just think about this field person who's kind of grinding out there, supporting cases, going
Right.
from doctor to doctor. But there's a whole other strata of key accounts or strategic accounts. So these folks are looking more at the integrated delivery network level. So they're looking at hospital health systems. So I was supporting like your Kaiser Permanentes, Cedar-Sinai, PIH, Cottage Health, those larger systems, and building relationships within the system to understand how we could really help create value and streamline operational efficiency.
Hmm.
And so that means like, are we giving you your best outcomes? Are we bundling things to make sure that pricing makes sense for the entire organization? Are your high use items, are we like leveraging that to make sure that we have a long-term relationship? So I was really able to look at things creatively from a high level, and that's really where my niche is, and where I really like being is being that more strategic partner on the C and D level. So
Sure.
yeah,
So
that's a little bit more what I did.
so walk us through then what that looks like when you tie it to what you sold, what's being sold in the vascular peripheral space. Like we understand now what you're working with and how you're doing it. How does that tie back to this product for these procedures and the like?
Absolutely. So I was overseeing about 5 field reps territories. And I was helping. So these field reps are really the ones that are on the ground, making the relationships, disseminating data, doing that awesome support work. And then I was taking what they knew from the physicians that they had built those relationships with. So what does that population look like? What other competitors are on the shelf? Do we have a lot of SKUs in a particular category that we might be able to help the system manage? So I was really working strategically along with these reps to understand what are your goals, what are your physician goals, what does the patient population look like, and how can
Yeah.
we really impact health outcomes as an organization. So we were working with peripheral vascular reps, so all of the PTA, angioplasty, stents, IR as well. So some of like the biliary work as well, coils, peripheral coils, so none of the neural stuff. And then also aortic. So we were also supporting the aortic endografts and that business as well.
So okay. So let's go real example then. Um, I'm a rep for Cook Medical in this space.
Mm-hmm.
I've just sold one of these coils to Doctor So and So. They are interested. They want to move forward. They're excited about it. Jennifer steps in. Cue Jennifer where?
Cue Jennifer right anywhere in that sales process. So particularly talking about coils, I can think of an example where we were at a community hospital in the area, and we understood that they were doing a really high volume of coil procedures
Sure.
with a coil that was, geez, over $1,000 per coil.
Sure.
And
Sure.
we had coils that were, $100 per coil, that we wanted to produce value with and exemplify outcomes with. So I would actually go into the doctor's office with my rep, and I would be able to tell the economic value story while the rep would tell the clinical story.
Now,
So
now is the rep identifying this need and saying, Jennifer, oh my gosh, I got to bring you to this account, or is the company giving you all this data and you're calling the rep and saying, hey, we need to talk because one of your accounts is doing A, B, and C?
definitely the rep. It was all
Right.
about my relationship with the rep. So I had to have buy-in from the rep as well. And I had to have the rep willing to be a little bit creative, to bring me along to things where they understood that there was an economic story to be told along with the clinical story. And then once I have that stakeholder, the physician stakeholder's attention with that economic story, then I can go up to supply chain and say, hey, I talked to Dr. So-and-so, and he agrees that this may be a good program. And if he's on like a VAT or a committee that approves products to, or kind of approves that supply chain process of
Sure.
getting
Sure.
products in and things like that, the value analysis, then we can have a conversation about analyzing the actual economic value of bringing a new product in or replacing products that might be on the shelf already.
Wow. So, okay. So then how are you for your role and for you to get compensated when you have that role, you still had to get that rep to talk to you and engage with you and plan something so
Mm-hmm.
for example, if all the reps refuse to call you or talk with you, your hands are tied.
I'm toast. Yes, if the
Wow.
reps don't
Wow.
want to work
Okay.
with me,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
that would be the worst case scenario. So
Sure.
having
Sure. Yeah.
having those reps understand the value that I brought, and also coming in as a sales professional. So I started my sales career at JCPenney's selling suits when I was
Woo!
19.
Good stuff. Hard knock life. Yes. Come
Hard
on.
knocks, hard knocks. I did not come from the top.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
I grinded to get where I was.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So I had those skills. I knew how to talk to people. I know how to
Sure.
talk to people. I know how to, for me, sales is about understanding what someone needs and helping them get what they need.
For you, that
So
is what sales. That is the definition. That is everyone. That should be, and
thank
I
you.
stand by that. That should be everyone's definition. So, I find it interesting that you went from a remote sales rep, you bypassed being a sales rep to support sales reps
Mhm.
in a key account position. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I always thought key account positions are the type of position that a sales rep would aspire to. Is that tr- is that true or false?
Somewhat. A lot of the key account reps are MBAs like myself, so we have a little bit more of that analytical background,
Sure.
to be able to crunch the numbers that reps do not want to. The reps don't want to be sitting
Don't
in
want to
front
bother
of.
with.
No,
Gotcha.
they do not
Gotcha.
want to be
Okay.
sitting in front of an Excel
Okay.
spreadsheet for 5 hours a day. So that can be an obstacle for reps to achieve this. But I did work alongside of former reps as well, that that wanted to be there in their career. But a
Sure,
lot of reps you just cannot pull out of the field.
sure,
So
sure, sure. So almost like how a bachelor's degree is not necessary to be a medical sales rep, but if you have one, it's going to help you a hell of a lot more than if you don't. Is an
mhm.
MBA not necessary to be a key account manager, but if you have one, you have a better chance of being one than if you don't?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yep. If you have an MBA and if you have any type of analytical experience, I worked as a marketing analyst for a little bit as a contractor for Medtronic. I wore about five different hats while I was a
Sure,
contractor,
sure. Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
it was such a blessing to number one be trusted by folks to take on completely new things that I hadn't done before, and then
Right,
I got all of these amazing capabilities that I have in my tool belt, and
right.
I can say like instead of saying, I think this is going to be of economic value to your organization, I can say, send me all of your use data, and I will crunch the numbers and make sure that we have a compelling value analysis story for you.
Wow. Wow, that's awesome. I hope you're enjoying today's episode. And I want to let you know our programs cover the entire career of a medical sales professional. From getting into the medical sales industry, to training on how to be a top performer in the medical sales industry, to masterfully navigating your career to executive level leadership. These programs are personalized and customized for your specific career and background, and trained by over 50 experts, including surgeons. Our results speak for ourselves, and we're landing positions for our candidates in less than 120 days in top medical technology companies like Stryker, Medtronic, Merck, Abbott, you name it. Would you run an Ironman race without training and a strategy? You wouldn't. So why are you trying to do the same with a medical sales position? You need training, you need a strategy, and you need to visit evolveyoursuccess.com, fill out the application, schedule some time with one of our account executives, and let's get you into the position that you've always dreamed of. What's awesome about this is you have all these experiences. You were in a remote sales rep position. You got into a key account position. Real quick, in the key account position, are you mostly also behind the phones, or are you actually expected to go out and see these key accounts?
We are definitely expected to see the key accounts, and that really changed with COVID. What that looks like, the expectation and the hope is that we are going to have face to face relationships with a lot of these
Sure,
folks. But COVID made that really hard, and things have shifted to like more of a virtual model.
sure.
So we would always try to have quarterly business reviews with our executives and just make sure that they understood the value that we're continually providing to them rather than, only meeting when something comes up or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
so we would, yeah, definitely try to build those relationships and make sure that we were brainstorming ideas and on top of any issues like back orders or anything like that might affect the entity at a larger level.
Got it. And then you leverage all of this to now start a consulting practice.
Yes, yes. So
And
now
that's what's happening now.
that is what's happening in the now. Yes.
Wow.
I
Wow.
really, really enjoyed working at Cook. Um, but I sought leadership, like in a real sense of creating things, creating new things that hadn't existed before. And also, seeing the statistics behind medical tech device companies that, a lot of them don't make it. And there's really impactful medical devices being invented every day.
Mm, mm.
And a lot of stuff just doesn't really thrive in the market. So I felt like, hey, this is my
You were
opportunity to
being
get out
called. You were being
there.
called. You
Yes.
felt the calling. So
I felt
this is
it.
this is why I love the world of medical sales, because I'm sure there's other industries you can do this, but in medical sales you can really have an entire career, and then when you're done, have an entirely new career in the exact same field. I mean,
Hmm.
I did
Hmm.
it. I know so many people that have done it. You're doing it. I mean, it's pretty freaking cool.
Yeah.
So let's talk about it. What gave you the confidence to say, I'm good at what I do. I make great money. I work for a great company, but I'm still gonna bet on myself and leverage my own thing. What were you seeing that made you say, you know what, I can do this. Let's go.
I think I was seeing in the industry as a whole, I was seeing a lack of a conversation around value and around outcomes and around health equity. So I saw a huge opportunity. There's a lot of low hanging fruit in where you can both impact the lives of many people who are very ill, and you can help increase revenues by targeting densely populated or even loosely populated high disease areas. So I really like go to companies, and I like traditional sales processes with, you know, targeting those elite KOLs and academic institutions, learning institutions that have, they're flush with money and things like that. But I also believe that you have to look at procedural data, and you have to target your struggling physicians that might be in the desert, or they, you know, they
Hmm.
but they're
Hmm.
doing high volumes, and they're apt to be KOLs. They're apt to be key opinion leaders, and we can develop these people, and we can bring a little bit more equity to our strategies. So I saw the opportunity that was not being tapped, and I said, hey, you know, I'm here to, I have the knowledge, I have the capabilities, and I'm here to make this
Wow.
happen.
Wow. So your business now basically helps companies get access to hard accounts.
Yes, yes. That's a big part of what we do. So I really enjoy building sales teams, building sales strategy, and helping medical device and medical technology companies understand really how they can escape the traditional paradigm of tapping into established KOLs and established you know, maybe more look at more diverse pools
Sure.
to grow.
So is your company, do they actually offer like a remote sales force with the strategy built in, or is it more of you are reaching out and consulting the head of sales or the VP of sales or whatnot on the strategy they're trying to execute?
A little bit of both. So we do consult on strategy, and so we'll do like hourly consulting, and but currently we're looking at building sales teams and building out
Wow.
sales with
Like
and
your
I
own contract sales force.
exactly
Amazing.
like
That's amazing.
we need a sales team. Tell
Yeah.
us how to do it, and then we go in there and we build up the sales team and make sure that there's a lot of administrative support within that sales team to make sure that it's operationally efficient and runs pretty lean.
That's amazing. That is amazing. So, you've had quite the career. Let's talk about the lifestyle, right? You were in a
Hmm.
remote sales role. Then you went into the vascular key account position. And
Hmm.
now you have your own business as a consultant and I guess own contract sales force that you're dishing out to people.
Hmm.
Talk to us about the reality of your lifestyle. Can you describe your pursuits that I just mentioned as 9 to 5 endeavors, 8 to 5 endeavors, on call endeavors? And then please share with us, do you have a family? Are you by yourself? Like, how are you making it all work?
Oh yeah, definitely. So I've been a single mom since I was 25, and I've been sort of doing this alongside with my
Sure.
two kids as my cheerleaders. They're
Hey,
19 and
come on.
20 now.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, so we've definitely overcome a lot of challenges as a family to be able to make this happen.
Right.
And you know, one thing is like that people may not understand is it's not exactly a 9 to 5 job. Anytime you're going to get into medical device sales or medical technology in general, like be prepared for 10-hour days. That's pretty much the expectation across the board, is that you will, and not every day is going to be a 10-hour day. Some days are going to be lighter. Some days, you know, if you're at a convention, you will be working around along the clock for days on end. And that's yeah, that's kind of the life is really dedicating a little bit more time, but you do get rewarded financially, and in terms of helping other people, it's really rewarding. So at Medtronic, we worked, 8 to 10 hours a day was the norm. And then as a key or as an account executive and working in key accounts, we were definitely working a little bit longer hours, varied hours. So when we would have a request for pricing or a contract renewal that was coming up, that would be a really intense exercise of analytics and cross-functional engagements and things like that. So sometimes the hours were pretty long there. And then working for yourself, as you know, is a 24-hour job.
Easy. A couple hours a day, it's all you need.
Exactly.
I wish.
I love those. I love those like Instagram ads where people are like, I work three hours a day and make $250,000.
Sure you do.
Like, that's impossible. That doesn't, owning your own business never works that way. It shouldn't work that way, and it's a red flag if anyone tells you.
Right. Facts. There you go. Tell us how it is, please, Jennifer. I see.
Absolutely, cool. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm a big proponent of, like you have to put in your 10,000 hours to get really good at something. So putting in those hours as a med device professional is going to help your career, and you do have to be a little bit entrepreneurial. So as an entrepreneur, geez, I'm working a lot of hours. An embarrassing amount of hours.
So would you say? So I know you're new to it, but would you say that maybe I'll just ask it this way: the promise of your new pursuit in this consultancy agency, would you say that it's going to exceed whatever you would have done if you stayed a W-2 employee?
Yes, definitely. I do believe so. I think that it's going to take some time, definitely to exceed. Yes, but putting in those hours and making sure to make room for people that have the same passions that I do for value-based healthcare and health equity. That's really gonna put us ahead in a few years. When you talk to us, we'll be doing great.
Awesome. So, people listening to this right now that are in medical sales that might be thinking, hey, I am trying to be like Jennifer. In a nutshell, what has been so far, because it's still new to you, what's been the biggest reward in this pursuit of being an entrepreneur? And what has been the biggest, hands down, challenge in this pursuit of being an entrepreneur in medtech?
I think, so the biggest reward for me, I have a team, and being able to, one of the things that I wanted to do in my business was to develop diverse leadership within the med tech industry. So I was able to recruit a couple of diverse MBAs, and being able to support their career aspirations is definitely very, very rewarding. And I get to learn about so many cool devices that are being made in seed stage. Like, the future is now. It's crazy. There's such cool things going on out there.
Like old news. I mean, who knew? Who knew?
Yeah. So being able to see these technologies as they're coming up and being like, wow, this is algorithm changing. This is gonna absolutely impact so many people, and I get to help bring it to market. Like that there's nothing more rewarding than that for me. Yeah, absolutely. But I think being a business representative kind of person for all of my career, I was anticipating a grind to get clients. I was anticipating that I would be on the phone, I would be working my network, and but I did not anticipate how difficult and how much of a grind would actually be.
Yes.
So
you know what they say? They say you take, for entrepreneurship, you take whatever you think the grind's going to be, and you multiply it by 10 to get the result that you're trying to get.
That's about right. Yeah, that's wise. So I didn't have that advice ahead of time, but I did realize as I jumped in that you have to have a value proposition,
Yeah.
and in order to have a value proposition, you have to get some work. So it's kind of like this cyclical thing that happens, where you just have to like be able to talk and be confident in your skills enough to present a good value proposition that's compelling, and have the reputation as a trusted professional in the industry as well. So I think those things, having the amazing network that I do, is really great as well. So that's helped me
Yeah.
quite a bit in my endeavors. But yeah, just the amount of outreach is pretty astronomical.
I love it. I know it is. It is. It's a lot. It's a lot. But like you said, I think another cool thing about entrepreneurship is it all swells. So if you start working hard now, it's going to turn to something. And if you start working that, it's going to turn to something. As long as you just stay on it, it will continue to swell. So there's that opportunity too. Okay, so I gotta know, how does a single mom manage to make all of this magic happen to the degree that she can then take a step out into the world and say, you know what? I'm done with working for someone. I'm going to work for myself. Here we go. Let's go. So we want to hear, what is your routine? When do you wake up? What do you do? Do you have some kind of process all the way to when you go to bed? Please share.
Oh, that's so great. Okay, absolutely. I'll share my routine. So I feel like I'm a big Tony Robbins fan, and
Hey.
yeah, he's my guy. I don't agree with everything that he says, to be honest, but he has some really great ideas about momentum and about positive thought, really like being
Mm-hmm.
integral to what you do. So I start my day with movement. I go for a walk. I live downtown Los Angeles, so there's always like a lot of people around, and I try to connect with folks as I'm walking around and start little just like start the
Mm-hmm.
day with motion and intention that, like, hey, we are all in this together.
Right.
Even the strangers that I pass on the street, we're all interconnected, and here I am, and here I am starting to move my body and gain actual physical momentum for my day. So start off with a nice like half an hour to an hour walk, and then I go home and I meditate. I like to do a gratitude meditation.
All right.
So it's something where you sort of relax, focus on your breathing, and think about the things that you're grateful for. So every morning I think about my friends and my family and all of the abundance I have in my life, and how lucky I am, and that really kind of sets my tone for the day.
Mm-hmm.
And then I like I'm an hours person. Like I believe you have to put in your hours. So I'll dedicate myself. I'll say, okay, I'm setting aside this. I kind of chunk out my work, and I take breaks every 2 hours, go outside, jump rope, or do some yoga in between things. Try and keep my mind and my body active. Try to keep the momentum going through the day so that I can stay focused on the task at hand. But yeah, chunking out my day, and I try and devote a good like 10 hours a day to like heavy, thoughtful work.
Sure.
And yeah, and then once I'm done with that, I always try and take care of my body, eat healthy, connect with my kids, connect with community. That's really important to me, to always be checking in on my family, be going to community events, volunteering, things like that. So, and then sleep. There's a lot of executives out there that are like, I sleep 2 to 4 hours a night, and I'm just like, how do people? I can't do that. So
When do you take it in?
so about 10 o'clock at night, I start winding down, and I wake up at about 6 o'clock. So I try and make sure that I get about 8 hours of sleep. I usually only actually like I have my Apple Watch, and it tells me that I sleep for 6 hours a night, no matter
Right.
how long I'm in bed. That's like about the amount of time that I actually sleep.
Right.
So yeah, it's kind of like wind down, and in the mornings I take some time to try and like relax. But I don't want to get out of bed like too urgently,
I
unless I
get
have
it. I
something
get
to
it.
do. So
Mm-hmm. I get it.
yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, thank you for sharing that with us. It's so cool anytime I meet a highly productive person that's gotten a lot done and is able to command life on their own terms, I always want to know what went behind that, right? What was the routine? What were the hard nights? What did it look like? And what was the discipline you kept up with that allowed you to create everything you're creating? So again, thank you for sharing that with us, Jennifer.
Yeah, absolutely, no problem. I feel that it's a lot to it is a lot to be a very productive person, and there's just a lot of thoughts that are going through your
Yep.
head every day, and
Mhm.
a lot of different things to keep track of. So it is really important to take care of your mind, to take care of your body, and in order to do that work, it's like it's almost essential.
Yeah, those are the facts. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. And remember, I have a customized and personalized program that gets you into the medical technology industry as a sales professional or any type of role for that matter. Become a top performer in your position and masterfully navigate your career to executive level leadership. Check out these programs and learn more at evolvesuccess.com by visiting our site, filling out an application, schedule some time with one of our account executives, and allowing us to get you where you need to be. Stay tuned for more awesome content with amazing interviews on the Medical Sales Podcast.